Hello and welcome here. This is Karen from Vintage Elegance Inspiration, and I have one more journal to share with you before heading off to our retreat that starts May 5th in North Carolina. This one is a little bit of a continuation of the prayer journals that I made previously because I printed out all of the digitals at one time. However, it is not a prayer journal, but can be used as one. It can be devotional. It can be a gratitude journal, a friendship journal, anything like that. It's very soft, very feminine, romantic colors. And I chose this beautiful quilted fabric that I've had for a long time. And when I was flipping through Instagram this morning, I saw that Rose Hill Papers had used almost the identical quilt fabric on one of their journals. Stunning, just a pure coincidence. And I also think I saw something someone had posted with leaves that are very similar to this. I haven't adhered the leaves yet, but I will do that. I just need to record this video within the next half an hour because I will lose my peace and quiet in the house if I don't. So I will attach that, and I've chosen these beautiful ties to add to it. I'm just going to have them free flowing because it's rather dimensional, and I also don't want to poke holes in the fabric. It is lightweight, but the quilting fabric is still very thick, and I don't want to have a problem using any eyelets. So these are vintage sequined and beaded tiny little seed bead appliques, and this sweet little flower is got many layers of lace and fabric, and then the sparkly center, and can just be clipped on. So that is what I ended up choosing as the cover adornments. So I'm just going to move those off for now, put them beside me. And what I did was I attached this row of beautiful vintage, I would call it costume lace or embellishment, because it's just so delicate and fragile. And where I buy a lot of my things in Sacramento, we are a big theater town. We've got Music Circus, so we have Broadway costume across the street from where I buy a lot of my vintage items. And this was just perfect. I just ruffled it and added it. So I've chosen to call this particular journal Dreams, because you can fill it with your dreams. It is one signature. It has beautiful long dangles made with beads and charms that I love so much. And of course, all this beautiful vintage lace and fabric goodness. So let's open it up and go inside. I hope I stay within frame. I've tried to lower the arm of my camera stand because sometimes I miss things and go out of frame. So I hope this is going to be okay. Looks good to me. Centered, pretty much. What I have done here is just lined it with some scrapbook paper, because tea-dyed scrapbook paper. I love the tone, the color, and I didn't want to add thick cardstock paper, because the cover was already a bit of a struggle for my sewing machine to sew around. Beautiful lace on the inside that I've attached and used for pockets. The digitals that I've used, again, are from Pixiedustfiles. That's Debrina Pratt. I'm in love with her artistry and her creativity. It is just beyond beautiful. And Maria from Under the Night Moon. Beautiful. Just so beautiful. I know this particular envelope is from her Etsy shop, the digitals. And then I've just added the gold texture paste. And a beautiful little bow set and flower from Susie. And just put some lined music sheet paper in there for extra journaling space. And then a journaling card that I have made, just backed onto cardstock with a beautiful image of Mary and some vintage lace from Australia, a little puff, what do you call those thingies, and a vintage button with a rhinestone in it, some dotted tulle on the top, and that just gets tucked into the inside cover. So let's go through Dreams. I've added Sheila's absolutely beautiful pearl trim. I'm in love with this one. I think I've used it before, and I ordered a bunch more from her, and I am set for life. Let me tell you, my tote box is full, and it is so much fun to go through and choose something. It's like shopping in a candy store. I absolutely am so blessed, and I love her. I love her stuff, of course. Backed with antique lace. You can tell it's antique just with the stitchery and the softness and the detail. It's so amazing. I did some stamping of roses. Yeah, the other theme is it's definitely roses in this journal. Extra journaling space. Some beautiful, beautiful Battenberg lace, vintage. How gorgeous is that? And some antique ledger paper. I am pretty sure this is from Gisela at Lavish Laces. I can confidently say that. I'm pretty sure she can confirm if she happens to watch this. Another simple but large journaling card, tea-dyed paper doily, and some beautiful, beautiful vintage trim. And then I've got a stacked pocket. These are originally designed by Marlene from Uniquely Ella. I just love using them. And then I've added a little, this pocket is all decorated with birds. And added this little image at the bottom. Just, you know, little tuck spots created along the way. These can all be written on the backs of, and a tall tag. I didn't do toppers like fibers or ribbons or laces on everything. It just gets so bulky, and I felt that I had enough going on at the top. Here is a ruffle made from some of my Tilda fabric. I think that's called Old Rose. Beautiful image here. And then just some extra ephemera pieces that I've made for journaling on. Some stamping. Emily Dickinson poetry. Vellum sticker. Page from the Bible from Jeremiah. And then some of my Venice lace trim that you may have seen before. That's one of my favorites. Some stamping again. And then I've added a pocket with some beautiful antique lace in a blush, dark blush color. And just some journaling tags or cards. I guess tags always have a hole and a topper in them. These are more journaling cards. And then some of my avocado dyed paper. This is also a little tuck spot if you want to add something. Some sparkly lace, beautiful vintage lace, some stamping, a gorgeous applique. That might be from Susie. It looks like one of hers, but I'm not 100% sure. Vintage or antique music page. And a couple of tags on this side. I made those for the prayer journals that I created around Christmas time. Some antique, tiny little doily or applique that I was gifted. So beautiful. And then some vintage tattered velvet. And then you can tuck something in if you want to use that as a, you know, a layered type of a card. I just did this for now. And this page I took, it was a vertical page meant for a tall, skinny journal. And what I do in that case is I just fold the top over. And then you've got a little tuck spot. Only I glued what I did was I glued it over top of the pocket, so it made it kind of very narrow. What I did this time for some of the laces was I backed them the way that Odusina Ann does. And what I found was, I've done it before, but it limited me to which side of the page I could actually use them on. And so it gives it sturdiness though. That's what I like. And for such a floppy lace, that's really important. This is beautiful vintage crochet. And then I just made a tag here. And I'm going to be adding this sweet little butterfly. Just needed a little something more. Another vellum sticker. And then this is a triple pocket, and I have used vintage wallpaper and some embossed paper to create that effect. Just some journaling cards, of course. Beautiful vintage lace, tea-dyed vintage lace, and then another journaling card. Just simple, but beautiful. And then this piece of vintage or antique lace, I noticed that there were little holes in it for inserting, of course, and I chose to do that with this beautiful, tiny little narrow velvet from one of the bundles that I got from Sheila. I was rummaging through everything, and this just was perfect. I thought it was gorgeous with this antique trim. This is from Gisela at Lavish Laces, for sure. Is it? Yes, I think it is. It is. And stamping. And then I did a vintage lace swatch card with just several pieces of, this is antique, this piece. But I just added the word vintage. Sometimes it's hard to determine what is vintage and what is antique. But if you're purchasing from a seller that you are confident in, they can definitely tell you, because they'll know where they got it from. I'm going to leave that little paper clip out. Some gorgeous vellum paper. And then in the center, I've added two pockets, yes, but it's just a veil crossing the page here. These, of course, are the dangles. Lots and lots of beads. I love them super, super dangly. And then the charms and the crinkled seam binding at the bottom. These are some images from one of the kits from Pixiedustfiles. I think this one is called Divine. And then just added some antique laces on this one. And writing space on the back. Flip the page over. And another piece of loose ephemera that you can actually attach. You can put it wherever you would like in the journal. I don't always glue or adhere everything down, and just give the new owner some freedom of choice where they would like to add it. More gorgeous crocheted lace, definitely vintage. And then a pocket here, I have added some antique lace and beautiful, beautiful narrow sparkly ribbon in rose gold. That was from Susie. I've got a prayer card here, and then just a journaling card in the pocket. Lots of space for writing. And then I have just edged the using the shimmer gilding polish that I like to use in gold, the edges of the pages. And here's the other side of that long skinny page that I've just folded over with a couple of tags or journaling cards that I have made. Added some antique lace, vintage or antique lace, applique. I think this is applique in this case. And then some beautiful, beautiful vintage lace on the side. I love this. I just love that veiled effect where you can see through to the next page, and it's quite wide, so these shorter pages I like to have a wider lace draping over the side edge. Just a little pocket with some antique lace and a vintage applique. I've used the gold sparkle shimmering polish for this journaling card. The other side of the music paper with another vellum sticker with a rose, and then a little booklet and embellishment. You could attach, I could attach this even, and just gives you extra writing space. Tea-dyed paper. Some more beautiful vintage crocheted lace on the side. This is a good 3 inches wide. Love it. The avocado paper, and then here I've got another triple pocket using vintage wallpaper. All 3 are vintage wallpaper. The story behind this, I bought this from a lady out in a parking lot. She used to be a seller at one of the vintage markets, and I went to her booth and she wasn't there anymore, so I asked about it, and they said, oh, we can give you her phone number. And I said, oh, thank you, that'd be so wonderful. And we ended up meeting out in the parking lot, and she just had, I would have liked to have bought it all, but it was fairly pricey. So that's the backstory to my vintage wallpaper. And a journaling card. Some beautiful vintage trim. A little paper doll dress that I've edged with gold. And then this says Dream. That is from an old set that I have from, it's called Collage Roses. And I can't remember who the artist was. I don't even know if she's still on Etsy. But I bought a lot of things from her in the beginning. Some rubber stamps and stencils and things like that. Absolutely beautiful. This, if you recall, I made for one of my other journals, and it just didn't fit. Well, it fit perfect in this journal. So it's a ruffle of some eyelet cotton, and then I've just laced some vintage trim through it. These are both from J. Zella at Lavish Laces. And then some more vintage book pages. I always include a vintage or antique postcard. This one is antique. Isn't that just stunning? Look at the color over top. It's amazing. I just love it, and it's textured. It's almost like oh, that stuff in a tube that adds a little sparkle. I forget what it's called. I always forget everything when I go to write or to record a video, but it's absolutely beautiful postcard. And you can see the paper behind the crocheted lace here. This is absolutely beautiful. Vintage trim as well. And then just some more journaling space on the backs of these cards. There's a tag with some antique lace, sweet little flower applique, and dotted tulle. Some more, the other side of the antique ledger. Absolutely gorgeous. And then this lace that I have used quite often. It's very wide, very floppy, but it's got the flowers on it, which I love. And then another piece of ephemera that can be moved around anywhere you would like. Some beautiful vintage lace on the side of the page. And then that's the last part of the journal, share. The other side of the pocket. A beautiful tag that I've created using a tiny tag, an antique Catholic charm, some vintage lace, some more vintage lace from a scarf, some vintage buttons sewn on, and some songs on the back. And then this envelope I created using a beautiful pearl applique just on the flap, and I folded it very narrow just to be different. And then of course it's got the texture paste in the gold onto the front of the envelope. So that is Dreams. And it is going to be going with me to the retreat. Like I mentioned, that's where I'm going to be debuting it in person. And if you're interested in this one, you can certainly put in dibs for it. It will be available in a week or so. And as I said, this is going to have this piece here, this piece here, and this piece here. And then she's ready. So thank you for watching. Also, I have another little tiny project in the works. I'm going to stop this video and then I'm going to assemble this little flip book and share it with you. This is some more digitals from Pixiedustfiles. And this particular set can only be bought through her personally on her Instagram. And I printed out long ago and just wasn't able to get around to creating something with it, but I absolutely love it. And I'm ready now to put it together. And then I will record a video and probably add it onto this one because I just thought it went together. It's the same series of digitals. So I hope you're having a great day and a great week. And we'll talk again soon. Thanks so much for watching. I am back with my finished little flip book, and I'm happy to share it with you. It is called Adoration, and the digitals and the design and everything is from Debrina Pratt, Pixiedustfiles, and this is what I have come up with. I didn't have any gold flakes handy, so I just used my gilding polish in the gold, the metallic gold sparkle, which I absolutely love. So I think it's 14 pages, two-sided. It's tiny. It's 2.5 by 3.25. And it's got some charms on it, vintage and antique lace, some Swarovski crystals that I've added, and it's just absolutely adorable. So I'm going to go through it and just flip the pages over for you to have a look at. And that's it. Just wanted to share that with you. And drum roll, I have decided on the vintage rose cluster as my completed piece for the journal cover for Dreams. I hope you like it. And it will be debuting at the retreat in North Carolina next week. Thank you so much for watching and staying with me, for your encouragement and support and your comments. I really appreciate it. Have a great weekend.